Last time we played LSU in the post-game, Coach Wade mentioned that they began to send 4 guys to the offensive glass. That was our biggest issue. They had 15 offensive rebounds, which really hurt us, and then we had 18 turnovers, 8 of which were live balls. So those would be the 2 categories that we'll have to have distinct improvement in our game in order to have a chance to be better.
When you haven't beaten a team like LSU, I don't know if the players are aware of it, but I think it's like 8 or 9 times in a row.
Is that right?
Yeah, psychological coach, how do you handle that heading into a game where you haven't been able to just somehow beat one opponent?
Yeah, most of our guys are 0-1 against them, and they're aware of that. Q hasn't beat them. Dre hasn't beat them. So I would say the older guys are more aware of the streak than the new guys. Very, very talented team. You could argue the most talented team in the league. Great size at all positions, great athleticism, great strength. And they've just imposed their will on the glass against us, and their speed and quickness has really caused us turnover issues in all the games that we've played against them, but specifically in the last one.
Do you think moving forward, Hayden gives you another offensive option, or is it kind of a thing that now you just kind of take it game to game because it's only happened once?
I hope what you said at the start is right, but evidence says what you said at the end is what it has been thus far. He was great on Saturday. Played much more physical. He's improved over the last 2.5, 3 weeks of practice. Changes the complexion of our team when we can space the floor. But hopefully he continues to do that, sure. But I don't know that until we can get repeated results, if that's the way we want to go into the game. But I do think that when you have a game like that, it gives you confidence.
Pretty open-ended question overall, but why do you feel like it just hasn't quite clicked in for you yet here in the middle of the third year?
Yeah. In the last 8 minutes of the game through 10 games, we were beating Ole Miss, I think, 16 at the under 8. We were beating Arkansas, I think, 9 or 10 at the under 8. South Carolina, I think, was beating us 9 under 8. And then the other 7 games were all tied, 1 possession or 2 possessions. And a lot of the reasons why we haven't closed them out, you can categorize, but not good enough to win in this league, whether it's turnovers, whether it's getting beat on the glass. Just like the LSU game, we're up 5, I think, at the under 4 media timeout, and live ball turnovers and getting beat on the glass were the difference in the game. And so I don't know if last year, Brent, counts. I know it counts relative to my record and Texas A&M's record. It just seems like it's been an outlier in comparison to year 1, 10-8, and what is now year 3. Year 2, it counts, but it's a kind of a completely different vibe. But I understand that I have to be accountable for it. I think this year, a year ago, we were on day 6 of the pause. Never played a game in February. Practiced 5 times. That's hard, whether you're a great team or not a great team. So year 1, I think we won 5 out of our last 7. And year 3, obviously we won 4 and have lost 6.
It always comes down to wins and losses, but is there any sort of silver lining when you look at this losing streak and you've pretty much been, it just comes down to a couple of plays here or there that tips the scale?
We've lost 8 games, and 5 of those 8 games have been 2 possessions or less. At Tennessee was 10. Home versus South Carolina, I think, was 11. And versus Wisconsin and Vegas was 10. The other 5 losses have all been 2-possession games. And that's the line that we're trying to change. That's the line that we're going to be held accountable for. But I do think that we're right there. We just haven't finished.
I do know there's a lot of basketball to be played, so excuse a little bit forward-thinking question, but Is any kind of postseason berth after the SEC tournament, is that a mark of growth or success this year?
In my opinion, it is. I know that there wasn't a postseason tournament of any sort in year one. I know that there was last year in the bubble, but any sort of postseason would be great. I think we still have work to do in order for that to happen with 8 games left. At 15-2, it felt great. At 15-8, it doesn't feel great. But relative to what's left, can we win some? Can we win all? Can we lose all? Thus far through 10 games, it looks like every one is going to be a fight.
And you sense your guys are still competing and fighting at the same level?
They've been tremendous. They've been tremendous. Their togetherness has been great. I think they have received everything that we've told them, that we've asked of them, that we're trying to teach them. They understand it. We've been very transparent with them. Yeah, I think they've been as good as I've been around. I've only lost 6 games in a row once in my career, but their response has been perfect.
Does having Days and Pinson back for this game change kind of the way that y'all approach the game?
Yeah, we didn't think Pinson would necessarily play. I think Days in some regards is the heart and soul of their team, another big-bodied, great around the rim, elite level rebounder, very powerful. But he's taken and made the most number of threes on their team. His game somewhat is different than the way he appears. And he's good at both. And he changes their team for sure. And I think Pinson does too. I just think whatever his injury is, I don't know that he's been able to get in a groove physically. But number 2 has played really well and continued to improve. 2, 0, and 11, their young guards have been really good. Probably playing more minutes because of Pinson being out. So I don't know if Pinson will play, won't play. He's tried to play, so I'm not sure where that's at.
No, it's easier said than done, but is recruiting size, height essentially a priority moving forward?
Yes, we got to get bigger as far as taller, bigger as far as more productive, bigger as far as helping us on the glass. Bigger, not necessarily taller, but taller, wider, stronger, because that has been, I think we're 4th in the league in offensive rebounding percentage, but we're last in defensive rebounding percentage. And so we're giving up the same percentage of offensive rebounds when we're on defense as we manufacture when we're on offense. And that's crazy. To be 4th or 5th, I think, in the league, I think it's 33% that we offensive rebound, but then last in defensive rebound percentage. Those two normally are not that far extreme. Normally, if you're good on the glass, you're good on the glass on both ends. And that has not been the case. Our guards have got to do a better job rebounding for us when we're on defense. They sent 4 guys to the glass against us in the second half last time. So there's only 1 guy getting back. So at the moment in time that the ball's shot, mathematically it should be 5 on 4. And so we need that 1 guard that's guarding their get back. We need him to be in there. Like we had Tennessee, we had 6 guard rebounds, and they got 52% of the shots they missed. When we played at LSU, they got 45% of the balls they missed. It's just too high of a number to overcome. And that's where we have to improve.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.